Okay, we're going to show a little bit of the cleaning procedures for the Model JN. And that involves taking the head assembly off, and you take it to a dish or sink or dishwasher. In order to do the process, first of all, we need to have one of the door pallets in place on the crank plate. We're going to start by removing the door ring. And the door ring can be washed in a sink or dishwasher without any ill effects. The next step is there's a black knob. There's one on the front and one on the back. Loosen these knobs completely. They do not need to be removed, only until they're loose. The first step after those are loosened is release the trip lever. This has to be moved over, and as you bring the handle down, the head assembly separates here. And I'm going to get it down so it's almost touching the pallet, and then I can rotate it very easily, raise the handle up, and the head assembly comes right off. This entire head assembly can be taken right to a sink or dishwasher for cleaning, and we're going to show that here in just a few minutes. The pallets as well, they can be washed in a sink or dishwasher. So we're going to take all this stuff over to a sink, and we're going to show you what our recommended cleaning procedures are. We brought our head assembly over to the sink here. I'm going to, in this case we have a dishwasher. I'm going to start out by spraying it down. I've extended the blades out on here so that I can flush out any dough particles and stuff that may have gotten in there. And I'm going to find a couple of little products here that I can put in here to keep this from rolling. I like to do it with the blades extended out. That just allows the jets in the dishwasher to do a more thorough job. Wheel it into the dishwasher. And let the dishwasher do all the work. They can be put into a sink or dishwasher and washed, especially some of the power washers. They work real well. Now I want to point out at this point in time that when you're washing them in a commercial dishwasher, the materials will expand, and that can cause them to not operate properly. So they should never be washed and then reused right away. They should be allowed to be cooled down to room temperature. So in most cases you're going to wash it at the end of the day so it has overnight to be able to cool down to room temperature. And that's going to prevent any possible damage from happening because of parts that have expanded due to the high temperatures that the commercial dishwashers can produce. Okay, now the dishwasher has just finished cycling. We're going to allow that head assembly to cool down before we put it back on. And then I can take, like I said, the ring and the pallets are machine washable. Although the pallets don't fit in our particular dishwasher, we're going to wash these by hand. Okay, the head, pallets, and ring have all been washed, so we're going to put them back onto the machine. And the first step is to place the pallet correctly on the crank plate. Next of all, we're going to take the head assembly, and on the top of the head assembly there's a rectangular opening that matches up with the rectangular shaped attachment at the bottom of the shaft. So when we're placing the head assembly on, we want to have these handles orientated at a 6 and 12 o'clock position, which puts the openings in the proper orientation that they need. Next we're going to release the trip lever and then bring the operating handle down, at which point I can let go of the trip lever and physically look under here to make sure that this all lines up until the handle comes down and stops. Now with one hand you should be able to rotate the head assembly, and we're going to just rotate it until the handles are at 3 and 9 o'clock, but there's also a hole right here in the front of the head assembly and a little pin that comes down here that should be lined up. When those are lined up, the head assembly will come up all the way, And then these knobs will automatically align so that they can be tightened. And they just need to be finger tightened. Don't overdo that. Now the head assembly is installed. The next step is the ring. There's slots on the ring that should line up with these arms, so we're going to just center this under the head assembly. And I'm going to lower this until these line up in there, and then I'm going to rotate it clockwise until it stops. And then the machine is all put back together and ready for the next use.